his caliber, a boxer to an MMA fighter?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, it's a different sport in general. The range is different, you know. Like boxing range is completely different than an MMA range. We can take advantage of a further distance with our kicks. If you get too close, we can take you down. So without those other aspects of being involved in a sport, you can stand a lot closer to each other. You know?
How hard is it to break that habit of always having to be in that certain situation so you don't get kicked, and then you're sparring him and you have to figure it out?
It takes some time, you know, but I've done my fair share of boxing rounds, so you kind of get used to it. I mean, obviously not with the best in the world like that, you know, but it was something I would have never tried. It was awesome. It was an amazing experience. I'm a huge fan of him as well, and then getting to meet him as a person who he is, very humble, welcomed me into the gym, wanted to help me out, you know. I feel like a lot of boxing gyms aren't that way. They get an MMA guy to come in, they want to knock your head off, you know.
Conor McGregor is the opposite. He fought in a boxer, a former 2 Division World Champion in Paulie. What do you make of that first preparation for Mayweather, arguably the greatest fighter of our lifetime?
I mean, you got to do what you got to be making smart moves, you know. I mean, I still don't think it's the same kind of matchup, though. You know, I think Mayweather's going to make him miss. He's going to make him get tired. McGregor, in my opinion, doesn't have the cardio. He's going to take advantage of that in the later rounds.
Malanaji is very upset, man. There's a lot of differences in that training camp. He's actually left that training camp. What do you make of that, man? Are you surprised that things just completely blew up? What is it, like 4 or 6 weeks away from fight night?
Yeah, I mean that close. That's very tough. You know, so I don't know the details of what happened. You know, you never know the inside scoop. You know,
well, it was a picture that had Malanaji on the floor. Malanaji claims that McGregor pushed him. McGregor, hasn't quite said that he knocked him down, but that's the perception of the picture. Do you think that he had the skills, the ability to be able to drop a fighter of the caliber of Malanaji in sparring?
Man, sparring, everyone's got a good day, everyone's got a bad day. You know, so you got to expect to get your butt kicked every now and then. It's the only way you get better. So you never know what could happen, but it's also, you know, and then unless you actually get to see it happen, you can't believe what you see. You know.
TJ, a lot of kind of obviously with Mayweather and McGregor happening, we've talked a lot about like the fighting style and stuff like that, and I've heard a lot of people say that when they spar with like a boxer, that the punches are just different.
Yeah.
Because it's almost like they're saying even though they have bigger gloves, like the punches are still harder. Like, would you agree with that?
I mean, my experience with boxers is that they're a little bit more heavy-handed. You know, they're able to set their feet a little bit more. You know, like I said, the range and the distance in MMA is completely different. You can't be so flat-footed like you can in boxing, as well as they've been punching their entire life. That's all they've done. You know, I wrestled my entire life. You know, get in there and teach a boxer some double legs and see how it goes down. You know, it's not going to work out.
So would you say when Mayweather was set, he's willing to fight in 8-ounce gloves?
It's his advantage. To Mayweather. I think Mayweather's a heavier hitter, even though it looks like it when Conor fights in MMA, he's wearing 4-ounce gloves. You know, it's a little bit different story. And I still believe that Mayweather's probably the heavier hitter.
Where will the UFC be if McGregor doesn't retire after this fight? It's going to be very hard for him to continue fighting after this payday with Mayweather. Where will the UFC be, man, without McGregor? It seemed like he elevated the sport to the next level.
He did, man. He's done a great job. You know, you got to hate him at first because he was such a loudmouth, you know, but he's done such a great job bringing a lot of attention to the sport, and you got to thank him for it as well. But there's always going to be new up-and-coming stars, man. There's always going to be people getting them pumped up, and it's also who the UFC decides to get behind, you know? The UFC is a hype machine in general. I mean, they can build people. They do a great job. Their social media output is amazing. The UFC does a good job of making stars.
TJ,